Did the Jazz falter, or did the Celtics just wear them out? Ron Boone and I discuss next on POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
David Locke along with Ron Boone as the Jazz fall to the Boston Celtics 121-99. Jazz offense actually was the one that struggled most of the night, more as much as the defense. The defense struggled. Defensive rebounding was atrocious tonight. I think this one's really interesting to me, Ron, because you look at this matchup, and if we just went position by position, right? Like, so the game starts, and it's Jason Tatum or Svi Mykhailiuk. Okay, Jason Tatum. Al Horford or Cody Williams. Al Horford. Kristaps Porzingis or Walker Kessler. Kristaps Porzingis. Derek White or Collin Sexton. Derek White. Jrue Holiday or Isaiah Collier. Jrue Holiday. Okay, they're better at every position. Every single one of our guys tonight was playing an NBA game, going up against a guy who's better than him. Who, Derek White, Collin Sexton, some people might quibble, but no chart, but honestly, no NBA ranking system has them even close. Like, if we're just honest about it, Derek White's respected as a top 50, top 60 player in the NBA. Collin doesn't make top 100. He's a great one-on-one scorer, but that's just the truth. I didn't make this up.
Yeah, Collin Sexton didn't make the Olympic team.
Collin Sexton is right, 100%. Collin Sexton is maybe the one matchup where physically was on par. Was Collin Sexton and Derek White? Collin might actually be physically better than Derek White, like just athletically. But it's a fascinating concept to me that our players had to go out tonight and play against guys, and every single one of them, every single matchup, they were better. And at one point, the game, we just kind of broke. And to me, that's kind of what happens. Like, you battle and you try to stay in it, you stay connected, you try, but they're better in every position, every player.
And the great thing about the players that they have is that, and for me watching this basketball game, that system fits every last player on that team. I mean, you look at Hauser, who's coming off the bench, undrafted player, great shooter, and he gets a ton of uncontested looks. He got 10 shots up in 28 minutes, and I guarantee you all of them was three-point field goals, three-point attempts anyway. Well, 8 of them anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, could he play on another team?
And that's the point I'm going to try to make. You know, is that, and we had some discussions a little earlier about certain players that played in the Jazz system and went to another team, and you know, they didn't fit the system, so they didn't last long.
I mean, we could go back to Stockton Malone here, Shane Anderson, that's Howard Isley, right?
Right. And Brian Russell, you know, all of those guys. But they have a system there. I thought it was fun to watch tonight, and the reason I thought it was fun to watch tonight, because as we discussed before the ball game, those threes are not forced.
No, they're not.
They're open. I mean, they're part of. I think that if there's anyone that would shoot the shot threes with a hand in the face, would be Jason Tatum.
Yeah, he's 6'9".
And he's
I actually thought Derek White let a few fly that were probably like late in the shot clock. He just lets it go. Like, I kind of love that, actually. If you want, like I said this to you on the broadcast, in the NBA, the feeling is like, well, try to get a three, rim or three, and then if it's late shot clock, just take whatever you can get. It's fine, because it's. I actually kind of like the idea that late shot clock. Excuse me. I'm actually just going to shoot it. I'm going to shoot a three anyway. It's not that funny.
You slip every night.
Right. Scal. I got no Scal time today. I miss you. We had no time. I couldn't stat you. I couldn't. I will. All right. You better be careful. I'm enough of a basketball junkie. I'll do that. You know, he just told me to come stay in his house, come to see a playoff game in Boston. What he doesn't know is that my son just took a job in Boston.
might be knocking on his door, huh?
And I'll be there for when my okay. Anyway, let's go back to that. What was I? I like the idea actually that late in the shot clock you go and take a three. Like, I understand at that point, like, it's a 27% shot or lower, but frankly, the forced two late in the shot clock is about a 35% shot. It's only worth 2 points. So I actually really like what they're doing.
So I just wonder, though, Obviously they took advantage of the advantage that they had tonight.
Yeah.
Forcing the switch, Porzingis in the paint, Tatum in the paint after the switch. They took advantage of what they had.
Can I stop you there? I want to get into that because I think it's super fascinating.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So just to make sure we have it, last time the Jazz played this, Jason Tatum didn't play. Jazz switched everything 1 through 5. Jaylen Brown did not have a very good game. Joe Mazzulla in the press conference today, when asked about playing the Jazz, said it's hard because they switch everything, and they came with a really specific plan to deal with the switch. Now your turn.
Yeah, and they took advantage of, well, like I said, took advantage of the situation. Jazz switching 1 through 5, and they put Collin Sexton, they put Keontae George, they put all the guards into the pick and roll, and now you got a 7'2" shooting over a 6'3" guard in the paint. How many points in the paint did they have? They had 50 points in the paint. They probably could have scored more, but they didn't have to.
The killer tonight is the second chance points.
Yeah.
The final number on, I think, is that they had 16 offensive rebounds for 33 second chance points. 33 second chance points. Yeah. It actually leads me, I think, the Jazz initial defense, this switching style that tried to take away the threes, allowed them to play Porzingis in that style, actually probably was working pretty well, other than they couldn't clear the glass out of it.
Couldn't clear the glass. Well,
and the system might mean you can't clear the glass out of it because you're too far. You don't have enough. You've been spread out too far.
I guess the big thing is they took advantage of the situation that they had out there on the floor, and the Jazz without John Collins, without Laurie Marketing, and Clarkson. He didn't play there as well, so it is what it is.
Collin Sexton really can score the basketball.
He is, and if he say the Jazz were a little bit better team, I guarantee he could probably come close to, or if not, get 6th man of the year coming off the bench.
That's seems like that's the perfect role for him on a good team.
I think so.
I gotta tell you, I don't know what happened at the trade deadline, so I'm wildly speculating here. And we may have just decided that we weren't willing to trade him, so that makes sense to me. What does not make sense to me is if no playoff team decided they want to Collin Sexton. Seems like a perfect 5-minute stint playoff player where your offense is bogged down. They know your plays. You're in game 5 of the series. You need someone to go get you a few buckets. Mm-hmm. And he also has just such a zest and zeal for life and being around everything that when everybody else is kind of worn out and tired and stressed out, he is just such a positive force. So I don't know what happened. We may have just decided we weren't trading for him. But if the reason so I guess let me phrase this way. If the reason Collin Sexton did not get moved to the deadline to a team that was in the running for the championship is because none of them called, I think they all made a mistake.
He's durable, and he's very explosive offensively, and you're probably right about that. I think his natural position should be coming off the bench being a 6th man.
100%.
And I don't know why anyone would want to, he's forced to start on this team, but I think the natural spot for him to get the most out of him would be coming off the bench.
100%. Mm-hmm. All of our young guys had bad nights. Not bad nights, but like they played against guys who are better than them. Like is it disconcerting to you at all, or it's just reality of where they are right now?
Well, it's kind of disconcerting for a couple of guys out there on the floor, but that measuring stick was displayed here tonight.
Yeah, right.
It was definitely displayed here tonight as far as the talent level that we have and where they are. We'll put it that way, with our young players and where they are.
Yep. And it's, they've got our guys have to adjust and figure out. These are great nights because, here's one of the plays tonight. Kyle Filipowski has a really good handle, and he's had this ability to bring the ball up the floor. And, I literally called it. He suddenly brings the ball up the floor, and he's being guarded by Jrue Holiday. And it's like everyone in the building knew that Jrue Holiday was going to steal the ball from Kyle Filipowski, but Kyle Filipowski.
Picked his pocket.
And picked his pocket and went the other way for a dunk. Yeah. Fine. No big deal. But that's a moment where Kyle Filipowski has to have an understanding of if one of the top 30, and he's top 5, on-ball defenders in the league is now picking me up, get off the ball.
So what you have here is a situation where you kind of have to grow up now. You've played against one of the better teams in the NBA, and they do so many different things well. So individually, that measuring stick is there as well, and hopefully, guys learn something. You know, sometimes you get that false, what do you call it?
Confidence.
Yeah, from playing the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
Then come play one of the best team in the NBA, and oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 air balls tonight was the final total, Lazy. Unless you count Cody Williams' layup that hit glass, no rim.
Yeah.
Then it's 7. Ron Boone, reliability pluses.
You know, I hadn't really looked because we were talking.
Yeah. Sorry, my first babysitter in Utah. Should I tell my story of how I got my first babysitter in Utah?
And I'll check this.
So our first babysitter in Utah just came by. So I talked to her. So Ron was nice enough to wait. Hadn't seen her in a long time. This is how we got our first babysitter in Utah. We literally had moved here on the first of the year. And on the first Saturday, I walked over to the Park City Mountain Ski Resort. And I walked up to the lineup in the kids' ski school with all the instructors waiting to get their kids assigned to them for the day. And I yelled, "We just moved here from Park City, and we have 2 kids, and we need a babysitter." And everyone thinks I'm crazy for this, but they've worked with kids. They've already been screened. They've been certified to work with kids. Seems like and they're young, and they need money. So it seems like a really logical thing on my part. But that's how we met our first babysitter. She was great.
So I have 2 picks here, and it's all because of the offensive life, I think, that gave the Jazz. That's Sexton and probably Keontae George. The life that they gave the Jazz offensively for scoring the basketball and that would be the only reason. Look at the plus minus.
Well,
all these guys, you know, it's just.
Here's the only one. 7 of 16 is not so bad because he hit his last shot. And 5 and 9 for 3 is great.
Keontae, yeah.
He just didn't have any free throws tonight. But you know what? He scored 20. What do you have? 19 points on 16 shots. Yeah, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
He's got so many skills. Yeah. All right. Keontae George, Collin Sexton, Sunday, midday.
1:30.
1:30. So that means we'll be like 3:45. Join us. Thank you very much. This has been POSTCAST.